every day.
How you doing, Joe?
Everything's good. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
I'm glad that David Bassi got us in touch, and I remember interviewing Samara Joy about a year and a half ago, right before the whole tidal wave just totally vaulted her into stardom. It was wild.
Right.
So this competition has just been such a boom for everybody that's been involved. But before we get into the competition that you won, I want to know, first and foremost, surviving COVID the last 3.5 years or so, that really went through the community of musicians quite heavily. How did you get through it, and how did it change you?
Wow. Yeah, I almost forgot that we had a whole plague that shut the whole planet down.
That's a good thing.
Right? Yeah, when it first happened, I was very, very sad and very, deflated. I was like, okay, out of all the jobs that I could have picked, I chose the one arts degree for music that apparently no one listens to. So, yeah, I was feeling a little lost, but actually during that time, I found so much inspiration. There was nothing to do, so all I can do is shed and research. Um, so I actually studied a lot of different forms of music. I studied a lot of Afro-Cuban music. I got into that. Studied some Haitian folkloric music. Just listening, learning tunes, trying to find other ways to maintain my creativity. And I think because of that period, it actually like catapulted me into a more dedicated and focused mindset getting out of COVID.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if we're all gonna survive this, and it's not, trumpets aren't sounding just yet, then why don't we really go for it?
Yeah.
Give it a chance almost.
So before we get to the tidal wave of winning this competition, I want to get to the beginnings of your life. Where were you born and raised, and how did this love of singing, music, jazz, all of that, how did that become something that was a fascination for you?
Early. So I was born in Suffern, New York, in 2000. Um, I was born to a Haitian mother and a American father, and we're all New Yorkers. Then we moved down after 9/11. Moved down to Florida. I grew up in this really small country-esque town called St. Cloud. There was actually nothing but orange groves and cows when we first moved there. And the neighborhood wasn't even developed yet. There were sunflowers where all the houses were. So
Wow.
it was really beautiful. Yeah, I grew up there, and I have a few siblings. I have two older sisters and one younger brother, Camrys, Kristen, and Cameron, and my dad, Christopher, and my mom, Camille.
Nice.
Right. So, yeah, learning music. My aunt had a piano in her house. Granted, I didn't know how to play it. I was just pressing buttons, but that got me enamored. I was like, I could make music by myself. That was really interesting. And then what really sealed the deal for me was when the movie The Princess and the Frog came out.
Yeah.
I was in elementary school, and I was already curious about playing music, but when I saw that alligator play the trumpet, I knew I wanted to join the band. So from there, I was in band class, and I was doing all kinds of arts. I even did theater for a while. I played orchestral music. Actually, played a lot of symphonic works as well as jazz works. And then, yeah, from there, I just kept learning more and more about music. I learned who Debussy is. I learned who Miles Davis is, Louis Armstrong, learned Bach, and learned how hard it is to play Bach on the marimba. And, I experimented with some singing, but it wasn't until I was playing classical percussion for a production of Into the Woods for a play at my high school, Osceola County School for the Arts. One of the actors had gotten sick, and they were just unable to show up for this musical rehearsal that we happened to have. And then everyone's like, oh man, it would be great. It would be really great to hear some words to go along, just the singing to go along with this. So I volunteered because I was studying the music. I said, why not?
Yeah.
Then I began singing, and then when I started singing, I noticed everyone's head just going slowly. Wow. I even got the comment, percussionist that can sing, interesting. And little did I know that the jazz director at the time, Edwin Santiago, he was in the back of the hall just listening. And then he asked me to join the jazz band. And that's really how I got my start.
Yeah. So
Singing.
what was one of the first live shows that you saw that blew you away and maybe inspired you to either want to get on that stage or just to love the jazz craft?
Wow, that's actually really interesting because growing up in Orlando, there wasn't much jazz happening. A lot of folks just fly over that region of Florida and they go straight to Miami or wherever else. It's I actually have to thank YouTube for all that. I couldn't go to see Miles Davis and John Coltrane, but I could I was lucky enough that even, a few years after YouTube had started, some folks uploaded those concerts like Mount Fuji or um live in Italy, like or when they were in Rome or Paris, I could see all my heroes in the flesh, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, so how did it all begin for you? So you got into the band. I'd seen a mention of it in 2018. There was an Ellington competition. How did all of this kind of start in earnest where you're like, this is the direction that I want to be in. This is what I want my life to be.
sure. Yeah, so I definitely have to give credit to two mentors of mine. One being the great bassist, composer, former member of Jazz at Lincoln Center and the Roy Hargrove Quintet, Rodney Whitaker,
Yeah.
wonderful bassist, and his daughter Raquel Whitaker, who is a great singer-songwriter, producer, vocalist, great friend, overall great mentor. Both of them basically taught me the basis of what I would need to sing jazz, having taught at a summer camp in Orlando called the Dr. Phillips Jazz Camp. So thanks to people like that and for moments like that I could realize that not only was it possible to have a career in this, but there was a community waiting for me. So I'm very thankful.
So when did you come back to New York?
Yeah. So yeah, I won the essential, or I didn't win essentially Ellington. I won an award at essentially Ellington. I got the outstanding vocalist, and I just moved back to New York a few months ago. I go in and out for work sometimes, or just to visit, get into the scene a little bit. But uh, I would say starting now, yeah, actually, this should be the 6th month that I've been an official New York resident.
Right on. So did you all before you sang and everybody turned their heads, did you know you had that in you, or was it something that you just said, I'm gonna give it a shot, I'm gonna go for it? What was your thinking going into that? Did you know you had this?
It's hilarious. I totally discovered it by accident. I knew that I had a voice. Like I think a lot of people have the ability to sing, but I didn't realize the impact that my particular voice had on others. So, because of things like essentially Ellington or Young Arts or any of these opportunities I had performing with some of my favorite artists, it was like those were all validating moments to say, maybe you should really consider getting into that lane.
So
Mhm.
as the winner of this prestigious award, how did the process start? How did you get to a point where you were vetted or you knew that you wanted to do this? Explain to me the process because it has to be almost like what Americans witness on these shows where you have this whole competition that starts at one point, steamrolls, things get intense, and then there's just this wave of adrenaline because you actually are on stage thinking, am I going to win this thing? So how did all of it kind of evolve for you?
Surely. I actually applied to this competition multiple times. So just to preface that, I think I applied 2 or 3 times before and never got in. But this year, um, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna audition, to be honest. But I was saying, I just told myself, why not? The
Yeah.
worst case is that they say no again, and then you just try again the next year. That's all you can do.
Mhm.
So yeah, I applied, and then I actually did a show with a great friend, Marcus Grant. He's a drummer, and then we did the music of Mumia Abu Jamal. We premiered his music in Rhode Island at Brown University, and then right after the show, I see an email that flashes up and it says, "Congratulations, you've been selected." And I was just shocked. I was like, "I made it this far." I was like, "Well, now it's time to go. I need to think about what to sing, what to do. How do I actually want to go about this? How do I want to approach it?" I decided to be very strategic with or as strategic as I could be
Yeah.
with how I approached this competition. I definitely reviewed my own materials, and then I just thought, okay, I'm thinking about the order of how I submitted my things. I'm thinking about the length of it. I'm thinking about what exactly that I showcased that might have helped me stand out. And I think by virtue of being a male, that was a huge boost. But also the kind of male voice that I have, I didn't really see in a lot of other folks in past who have applied, in terms of just like a low register or yeah, just amongst other things. But from there, I decided to hone in on what exactly is it that makes me me, and how can I capitalize on that. So yeah, the days leading up to it, I just tried not to stress myself out and flip, and I just try to be restful, try to rest my mind. And then I just decided, rather than being stressed, just have fun and put on a good show. That's what it's really all about. I mean, it is entertainment, but it's also art, and it's really validating for yourself. I think I said it in a previous interview. They asked all the applicants, "How do you think you'll win?" And I said, "By being myself."
Yeah. But isn't that the trick though, to keep yourself calm and to be focused on it? Like with anybody, whether it's an athlete or a musician, if you get mired up in the muck of everything that's rotating around it, you're going to get lost. And like you said, it's all about you. That's why they picked you, because you are what you have. And if you can bring that and be calm, that's the key.
Of course, yeah.
Um, so what was it like when you got on stage? They were getting ready to announce it. You hear your name. What was that whole euphoria like for you?
I was pretty much in a daze. Yeah, there was so much animosity building, not animosity, there was so much tension building up to see who was the first place winner. I was like, oh goodness, there's actually a chance that I could make this. And I heard my name, and I could only accept it. I could only take it in and realize this is reality. I worked hard for this, and you know, I actually came to this point. So I was very happy. And then I heard my family in the audience. I heard a lot of friends in the audience cheering me on. So I was, I was ecstatic.
So what kind of doors is this opening up for you now? What kind of things are starting to happen because of this?
Surely. I've been asked to record with so many people. Not only record, but just to collaborate with so many folks that I've admired for so long. Like I've been working with Theo Croker, a great trumpeter.
Yep.
He played with Dee Dee Bridgewater, amongst others. He's actually the grandson of Doc Cheatham, which
Yeah.
is incredible. And he's
Yeah.
been a great friend and great mentor. Um, I found on mentors, the mentor Eric Wyatt, also known as the mayor of Brooklyn and the godson, uh, Sonny Rollins. He's been a significant help to me, in terms of just navigating the scene and navigating both the fun side and the not so fun side, the music and the not so music side of being an artist. Um, and I have been approached by several festivals and venues and some labels, amongst other opportunities that I would love to support the work that I'm doing and support my artistic vision.
So the one thing that you would mention up front is, man, I picked this profession that's not really paying when the pandemic started. Like, what am I doing? But the one thing I think that's always kind of the hidden secret is the jazz community is an incredible collection of people,
Right.
incredibly talented, grounded, wonderful people that want to pass the baton on. Eric Wise, he's a wonderful cat, and I can just imagine how helpful he would be to keep that torch going, especially under the guise of Sonny. So, what is it that you like the best about this jazz community that is now kind of coming out and embracing you increasingly since the competition?
I think one of the best parts about it is that we celebrate our individuality as a collective, and it's really about seeing everybody win. Um, Not necessarily winning awards, but seeing everyone succeed in their own way and as themselves. I love to see it when my friends are collaborating with some grade A artists, like my friend Jason Clotter, who's a great and up and coming bassist. He's working with Jasmine Horn and Joe Farnsworth, and he's always telling me about how he always grew up. He was a actual New York native. That's like
Yeah.
very rare for me to see in the New York jazz scene right now. Most of us are transplants. But I just love to see moments like when he's playing with Jazz Mia and he goes to Greece or Europe, or he's playing with Jazz at Lincoln Center. I think it's really beautiful to see that this community is all about giving back to those who invest in it. It's a very there's not a lot of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
It's all about love, and it's about the folks who love the music and are driven.
So the one thing that's unique about musicians that grow up in New York is that you see this cauldron, this epicenter of the world that is jazz, all of these hallowed venues. Where have you played so far that you were like, I can't believe I'm on this stage? And what stage do you eventually want to play on that you've dreamed of playing on?
Ooh, I love that. Um, to date in New York, I have played at Carnegie Hall. I've played at Jazz at Lincoln Center's Rose Theater and Dizzy's Club, and their atrium. I've played the Caramore Jazz Festival. I played at Blue Note. Uh, I played at Birdland. I'm going to play at Smalls on Tuesday. But some spaces that I would love to perform. Hmm. Yeah, dang, that's actually a really hard one. Where do I want to play? I would say who's paying, but
Right.
well, I would love to play Summer Stage.
Yeah.
It's a dream of mine. Going back to that mention of YouTube and clips, during the pandemic, at one of my lowest points, there was so much it's just so much happening in America. And just between like Black Lives Matter protests and just the number of folks that were, you know, suffering during that time. One of the lights that I had was seeing a clip of Roy Hargrove performing. I think it was the 90s. Yeah, it's definitely the 90s. It's Roy Hargrove. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing with this big band in Central Park, and then they're playing September in the Rain. Um, that was probably one of the happiest moments that I had musically during the pandemic. And I actually sang that same song during the competition at Sarah Vaughan.
Right on.
Yeah, so that was in dedication to both Sarah, her version from Live at Mr. Kelly's, and Roy Hargrove's rendition. Whenever he does the call and response, I just love to see how we as artists can bring in a whole community.
Yeah.
Encouraging all these strangers to just let go and to sing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So if you could get into a time machine and go back in time and see anybody live at any venue, where are you going?
Oh wow. Oh wow. I think. Ooh, I definitely want to see Miles Davis. I would love to. Ooh, I think I would love to see Miles Davis, like in his electric era. That would be really cool. In his electric era, playing with like Kenny Garrett, maybe in Nice. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope to go to Paris. Oh, places that I hope to play. I hope to play in Paris at any festival that would have me. Uh, I
Nice.
hope to play in London. I hope to play all around the world.
Right on. Right on. So at the end of the day, why do you love jazz?
Why do I love this music? I love this music because, hmm, I mean, it's all about humanity and it's all about the people. I think that's what great art is supposed to be. It's supposed to connect people. It's supposed to be a form of communication. I think this music does it the best. It definitely can take a learning curve for a lot of folks, but when something feels good, it feels good. That's just a universal feeling. We all speak that language of swing and the blues. We all know what these feelings are. So it's really about tapping into that and allowing yourself to experience that. But yeah, I love this music for that reason. I love it just for the prestige, and not in the sense of, oh, it's like all hoity-toity and classes or whatever, but I just love the significance that it's had in this world, and like just the moments, like some of the most impactful moments that we've had, especially in America, that it's had on its people. So we talk about like how art reflects life, reflects art. Um, Charlie Parker wrote a composition called "Now's the Time," civil rights movement. Um, John Coltrane wrote the song "Alabama." That was after the bombing with those girls in that church. Um, uh, Louis Armstrong did a State Department tour and went to Africa. Um, Dizzy Gillespie went to South America. Like there's actual significance to this music, and it's definitely helped shape culture in America. And I think it's really important that we hold on to one of our greatest inventions and
Yeah,
really celebrate that and keep it as a part of our legacy and our culture. I think it'll help free us.
absolutely. So everyone, Tyreek, out there has a perception of you, family, friends, fans, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Oof.
We're going right into the therapy chair now.
That's what I'm saying. I'm in the chair. I'm comfy already. Who do I think I am? I'm just a person. God put me on this planet to, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what my mission is on this earth. And really, right now, I just hope to spread love and spread music and spread peace and spread knowledge. I think that's the job that we have as artists. We also have to be advocates for things that we believe in, whether it be peaceful protest, whether it be a food drive, whether it be advocating for, just like housing or even your rights. We were just talking about that with Charlie Parker and John Coltrane and Billie Holiday. They showed us the roadmap of what we can do with this music. So that's where I think I am. That's where I think I am. I'm just a person like anyone else. I just love to sing, and I hope to share that gift with everybody else.
So speaking of sharing the gift, if anyone wants to find out about live shows, any recordings that might be coming out, anything about your world, where can they go?
Sure. You guys could head to my Instagram firstly. We could get those likes up. Yeah, it's just my name, Tyreek McDole, TYREEKMCDOLE. I usually post there. I also have a website. It's also my name, TyreekMcDole.com. And I have Facebook and Twitter, all just my name. But yeah, so you could actually hear some tracks that I cut. I cut a track with Isaiah J. Thompson, excuse me. Wonderful pianist, plays with Marsalis, John Pizzarelli, amongst everybody else that's on the all-star list. We did the music of Vince Guaraldi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on a track called Little Birdie.
Yeah.
You
I
guys
just had it on the show. Had a
Oh, you
Christmas show.
listened to
Yeah,
it?
I love it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. And I interviewed Sean Mendelson about the Thanksgiving album that came out, and he would mention that Isaiah was doing his rendition of Guaraldi. And yeah, it's tasty. Very, very good album.
Thank you so much. I think Isaiah did a wonderful job with the
Yeah.
album. Yeah, I also just cut a track with Maurice Brown since it's the holiday season. We did a Chicago slow and sensual version of the Christmas song. So I hope you guys give that one a listen. It's all both of those tracks are on all streaming platforms.
Right on. Tyreek, this has been great, man. Congratulations. And I look forward to talking with you down the line as the material continues to come out. So best of luck with everything. Have a great holiday season.
And same to you, Joe. Thank you so much for having me.